What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the fourth studio album by alternative rock band Young the Giant. This one is titled Mirror Master, which I believe is a nod to the DC Comics supervillain from The Flash, and here, perhaps lead singer Samir Gadia is writing this and using this title because maybe he sees himself as the villain in his own story. There's a lot of introspection on the album. How can I spell it out for you? I love Young the Giant, and I have since 2010. I discovered them with the songs My Body and Cough Syrup, which remain favorites of mine to this day, and I've loved the majority of their output since then, with there being very few speed bumps in their career. Their last album that came out in 2016, Home of the Strange, was one of the best records, one of my personal top 10s of 2016. Riding high off of that amazing album that featured such great songwriting, such lush melodies, and while rooted in alternative rock, still also had some experimentation and some extra flair to make it special. Coming off of that into Mirror Master, obviously I was excited, and with the lead single Simplify, I was left feeling just kinda jaded because it's such a simple song, if you will. It doesn't really push too many buttons, and it feels like it's already been written 1,000 times, and it doesn't feel very Young the Giant, not in the sense that they're doing a new sound or they're bringing something else to the table that I just personally don't care for. It just feels underwritten and completely underwhelming to me. However, they bounced back with the second song released, Superposition, which is an amazing and eclectic song that has Asian and European influences in it, and it's a song that I just feel is simply beautiful. So they were batting 1 for 2, about 500, and they had one that had my hopes up here, and they had one that just had slashed me back down. So I was suspended somewhere in the middle, as I feel many fans were as well. And overall, does Mirror Master play out one way or the other? Should it raise your hopes higher for the future, or should it bring them down? Once again, I'm left dangling somewhere in the middle. To describe the sound of this new record, Mirror Master, I would say take their last two albums, Mind Over Matter and Home of the Strange, mesh those together, and then just drown it in a big old glass of water, because I feel like this is a very lukewarm, very watered down album that really doesn't do too much one way or the other. There's different shades of guitar on the record that can range from being a little bit invigorating to also quite bland, which is certainly a shame considering how talented their guitarists are, and I also feel like the drumming, while it does stand out on some of the highlights like Brother's Keeper, reminding me of the band Grizzly Bear there's also moments where it feels too processed or not well mixed, and it stands out in kind of a jarringly not good way. To properly diagnose the issues of, and also positives of, Mirror Master, I feel like we need to take a closer look at the track list, starting with the song Call Me Back. This was one of the pre-release singles, not something that I personally heard because I limit myself to 2, but after hearing this song on the album, I feel like it perfectly sums up the complaints that I do have, because there are positive things about the song, things that I do actually like, but there's also things that just feel like an anchor, that are just dragging behind the boat and just keeping it from getting too far. Dark Shade of Blue is absolutely what I would point to when I see further issues with the record, because it's a slower, shorter song that does feel like it's brooding, like it's trying to say something impactful and important, but it just grazes by my ears because it doesn't do anything to make itself stand out. It doesn't solidify its place in the track list or earn your attention and appreciation. There's definitely some catchy fun to be had on some of the cuts, although the record does feel a bit off-putting at times because it bounces back and forth between the dark and the light, but one of the positives would be the song Tightrope, which features a very spirited guitar, and no, it's not a cover of the Walk the Moon track, despite it actually reminding me a bit of Walk the Moon. Tightrope definitely has some funk going on to it, and I would also recommend Heat of the Summer in the catchy department. This is a song that's maybe not quite as great as even Tightrope or a lot of their past singles or deep cuts, what have you. This is a song that still feels kind of fresh in a lot of ways, despite it having that kind of washed out 311 guitar after the chorus, which I feel maybe fits the track, but overall it does sound a bit strange. The band dipped their toes back into generic and stale territory with tracks like Panoramic Girl that absolutely do not impress me in any ways. It feels very, once again, watered down for Young the Giant. Something like Oblivion follows in suit, and especially Glory. We do go out on a couple of choice cuts though in the form of You and I, which is a very sweet tune, one where I actually really truly like Sameer's voice, and the guitars, the background, the sentiment behind the track actually makes it feel like it belongs. And then the closing tune, Mirror Master, once again closing on a title track just like they did on Home of the Strange. This one actually ups the tempo and feels like it has some urgency to it, something that makes me care about the song. Young the Giant, I say this because I love you, this album was very generic. It's something that's painful for me to say because I threw so much praise upon Home of the Strange. Obviously, I wanted the follow-up to be great, but it is simply not. This is an album that just kind of meanders around, breezes by without leaving too much with the listener. Some of the songs sound just fine, and even though I do have minor complaints with them, I don't think that there's a track that stands out as just glaringly awful. It's more so that the album is very forgettable, and sometimes that is the biggest crime. Overall, for me, I'm going to rate this a 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Keep in mind it was all just my opinion, so drop a like on the video while you're here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new in town. If you would like to support my endeavors on both of my channels, then click the top link down below for my Patreon, or else this annotation in the corner of the screen. You can see my review of Home of the Strange by tapping right here, or see another alternative review right over here. All of my social media accounts can be found linked in the description, and I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.